if you've just recently joined us, the Crew2 crew is on board Crew Dragon Endeavour, which we just had a view of moments ago. They have departed the space station. They had an on-time separation at 11:05 a.m. Pacific, and they are currently executing a fly-around maneuver around the station. And after that, they will be executing 4 burns, essentially, a series of carefully choreographed maneuvers in order to put Dragon on a trajectory back home. We are anticipating a splashdown at 7:33 p.m. Pacific time this evening, just off the coast of Pensacola, Florida.
We're getting high-definition views from the International Space Station. These cameras on a camera assembly, which includes high-definition and standard-definition views, as well as the ability to manually control each of the individual cameras that are positioned on the station's truss. There is a single position inside Mission Control Houston now, the Cronus position, a person who is literally on the ground in Houston, manually controlling each of these views. The Cronus has full autonomy to position the cameras wherever is needed to get views of the action. In this case is the fly around of Crew2 and Dragon Endeavour around the International Space Station. Earlier you were seeing that same console position adjust the exposure or the aperture of some of the cameras, which allows the some of the plumes coming from the Draco thrusters to be seen as the image is overexposed. But in this scenario with the daylight, we can very clearly see the Dragon making its way to the forward end of the station. And we're seeing some features of the space station itself. Right now you're seeing on the very bottom left of your screen the gem. This is the Cronus. This is the individual, the Cronus. He's actually sitting there controlling the cameras on the International Space Station. Not a bad job to have. As he's using some of the truss cameras, they're high definition to check out some of these views. This is the Japanese module. You can see on the very right the flag of Japan clearly marked on that module. Right above that, towards the space-facing side, is the logistics module, essentially the storage area. And then the Japanese module has its own airlock to put out experiments. It's too small to fit humans. We have bigger airlocks for that. But this airlock is small enough to fit some of the payloads or experiments, many of which you see on this external platform, each with their own grappling fixture to allow the robotic arm to maneuver it wherever it needs to go. One of the experiments on that external platform is called the OCO3, or the Orbital Carbon Observatory 3. As the space station covers about 85% of the inhabited Earth, that one of the experiments is looking down at the Earth, monitoring carbon all across the planet. We're seeing that external facility as well as the Dragon come into the forward end of the International Space Station, hovering about 200 meters away. Fantastic views all around.
And as we've mentioned earlier, the whole point for doing this fly-around maneuver essentially is to take pictures of the station. There have been a number of new installations put on station since the last fly-around maneuver, and so this is a great opportunity to document the exterior of the station, basically do a photographic survey, and be able to see parts of the station that some of the onboard cameras might not be able to reach. If you look closely, you can still see Dragon. They're just kind of off to the right hand, slightly right of center.
Yeah, you got to squint.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see a little bit of there, pretty much directly in the center of the screen now. Gary, a lot of what you just mentioned about all the different modules and components of the space station really highlight the the first and possibly the most important thing about the space station is that it is international. It is the International Space Station, and all of these experiments and modules are a really great representation of teamwork. Also represented by our crew members on board today. We have JAXA astronaut Akihiko Hoshide, European Space Agency astronaut Thomas Pesquet, and of course, 2 NASA astronauts, Shane Kimbrough and McArthur. So it's a great demonstration of international effort.
And cooperation, really. You were seeing some of the features on the space station themselves, modules owned and operated by different space agencies. We even have commercial modules as we're transitioning to enable commercial activities in low Earth orbit, all enabled by this orbiting complex. Now getting some fantastic brand new views from the Dragon crew, taking photos of the outside all along the way, being able to capture for history this moment in time, 2021, as we have new modules that have been added since the last photographic survey, which happened in 2018 aboard a Russian Soyuz. We added some commercial modules, some international and commercial partnerships, namely the commercial module being the NanoRacks Bishop airlock, and then that international commercial partnership being the Bartolomeo platform, an external platform on the Columbus side, which we haven't seen. We've seen the external platform on the Japanese side, but from this view, now that the Dragon is approaching the very forward end of the International Space Station, which it should be getting to here momentarily, about 10 minutes. This is approximately the position where the Dragon is now, a little more than halfway to the very forward position, but right about that position, they should be getting some very good views of some of those new modules, including and platforms, including Bartolomeo. And this will be the first time that we've had views like this of Bartolomeo as part of an external survey, part of the ever-evolving International Space Station.
So they're a great shot looking top down from the station at Dragon. As what appears to us as the bottom part of Crew Dragon comes into view, you can actually see the side hatch door, which is where the crew entered into the capsule 199 days ago when they launched from Pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center. That hatch has been closed since, and it will reopen tonight after they splash down off the coast of Florida. And that will, once that side hatch opens, that will basically be their first breath of fresh air since launching almost 200 days ago.
I bet they are very excited to see their families once again. It won't be long until they are recovered by the SpaceX recovery teams. They're joint with NASA and as well as some European doctors. It truly is an international effort, even out in the middle of the Gulf, to recover some of these crew. But it won't be long until they're flown back to shore. They'll have planes stationed for them, ready to get them back home to see their respective families.
That is an incredible shot there of the earthly horizon with Crew Dragon rising above.